Hi there, friends. I'm Mary Knabe. Welcome to my Stampin' Piece studio on Monday, September 11th, 2023. Just want to take a moment that I would think pretty much everybody in the United States knows that something very tragic happened on 9/11, 2001. And if you haven't already, just take a moment of silence to remember the lives lost and their families today. And yeah, just give it a moment's thought. Let's not ever forget what happened on that very tragic day. Moving on from there, my last Facebook Live, the featured product was Pick Up the Patch, and I made 3 different cards, and I showed you how you can use that bundle both for Halloween and for fall cards. I'll just show them to you quickly. Here's the first one, just some simple stamping. Here's another one with mostly simple stamping, but then we also stamped on a piece of scrap paper and punched with the pumpkin builder punch. That is part of or is a coordinating product to the Pick of the Patch stamp set. And then in that demonstration, I also showed you the watercolor wash technique using our water painters and ink refills. And then with that drying, then we punched out the pumpkins and leaves from our watercolor wash paper. So if you missed, I have to think, if you missed last Thursday's Facebook Live, that is up on my blog, stampinpiece.com. You can get all of the information there. You can watch the video replay. You can get cutting dimensions, Stampin' Up! Products used, etc. In addition, posted to my blog, stampinpiece.com, I've released a new class, and this one features the Translucent Florals bundle. This is in our mini catalog, and it's a very special bundle to me because Stampin' Up! Asked me to present and demonstrate with this bundle in June for an event for demonstrators called Creativity Now. The class does not make the same cards that I made in the Creativity Now event for demonstrators, and perhaps I'll show those another time, but I think you're going to love the card. I'm just going to pull out one. Let's see, just pull out one here. How about this one? The class uses a really neat color scheme, Blackberry Bliss with Pretty Peacock. I think it's great for year-round, but I especially think it's great as we go into the colder months here in the US. So check that out as well on stampinpiece.com. Translucent Florals class to go. Today I'm going to show you how to make some very easy treat boxes, maybe for your Halloween trick-or-treaters, perhaps your co-workers, family members, things like that. I think you'll be really impressed how quickly and easily these boxes go together. And then I'll show you how you can do a little variation of that as well. I'm going to flip my camera around now to my craft space. And while I'm doing that, would you please share this live video, welcoming others to join us this afternoon. It's not flipping for me. Hold tight. I'm clicking on the button and nothing's happening. There we go. I don't know why it was delaying like that. All right. In today's demonstration, I'm actually going to be using the Them Bones Designer Series paper, which comes from the suite of the same name, Them Bones. Okay, I'm using this DSP. However, I'm using the Tricks and Treats bundle on page 50. All right, so sometimes it's nice to combine different parts of bundles and suites, and that's what we're doing today. Now, ordinarily, when we have a piece of designer series paper like this, I show you examples of how you can cut this and then use it kind of as a one-sheet wonder to make cards. Instead, today, we're going to use a portion of this DSP to make 4 easy treat boxes. So what I'm going to do is just cut right along this line right here, straight across. It happens to measure at 4 7/8 inches, but you can just set that line in your cutting groove and all is well. And I'll use this at a later time for another project. Obviously, 12 inches across, and I've got 4 pieces. This means each of these will be cut at 3 inches. So I'm going to do that now. If I were making a card with these, or perhaps even a larger bag, I would probably leave it at the 3-inch width. However, for today's project, I need to cut these down. Okay, I'm going to cut 2 at a time, actually. I'm going to cut, I have to think about this a second. These measure 3 inches. I'm going to cut an 1/8 inch off each side so that I end up with a width of 2 3/4 inches. And I find it easier to do it this way. Cut that large strip down into the 3-inch wide pieces and then cut them to the size I need for my project. And then on each end, I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch. So I'm taking it right to the 1/2 inch mark on the right side of my cutting groove. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me think here. Cutting off an 1/8 inch on each side. That'll take my width down to 2 3/4 inches. And then I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off each end. So there's my 1/2 inch mark here. And the same thing on the bottom end. Okay. And again, you can, depending on what you're making, you can adjust the size of those pieces that I just cut from the 12 by 12 DSP. So I'm going to set those aside for now. We're going to make 4 different Halloween boxes. I went ahead and pre-die cut most of the cardstock for those boxes. However, I did want to demonstrate die cutting for one box, just so you can see it, answer questions, and I can give you a tip. Now, this is the die that comes with the Tricks and Treats dies, okay? This comes with the Tricks and Treats dies. To make a box, you need to cut 2 of these, 2 for each box. This is Starry Sky, and what I want you to see here is, and it's about 5 1/4, 5.5 inches wide by 11 inches, okay? And I'll be able to cut 2 on here. What I want you to see though is you want to line this up, but does anybody remember the tip about die cutting when you have dies that have a perfectly straight line going through? Sometimes if we put our die through with it exactly parallel, that long straight line exactly parallel to the rollers inside the die cut machine, it'll kind of make the machine jump and you don't necessarily get a clean cut. So therefore you're going to angle this. Now this is a pretty big die and our paper is 5 1/4 inches wide, or 5.5. So you don't need a huge angle because then your paper wouldn't go through all the way, right? You don't want it perfectly straight, but angle it just a little bit. And that little bit will very much help it go through smoothly and make sure you get a nice cut all the way around your die. Gail and Lori, you were on it. You knew the answer to that question. So as you can see, it comes out really nicely. It also puts score lines in there for me. And then I'm going to, let me flip it this way. I'm going to do the same thing. Angle it just a little bit. Okay, let me put this big old machine aside. We will be doing a little more die cutting today, but I'll be able to do it with the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So now I have these 2 pieces. And let me show you how easy it is to put these together. The first thing you do want to do is use your bone folder to burnish all those score lines. Give those score lines a good crease. And you want to do that on both of them. And as you see me working on this, this is the top where you see the score lines and stuff. This is the top or the outside of your box, okay? Katie, thank you for giving Jenny a shout out. Jenny took it upon herself to do that in a Facebook Live one day. And then afterwards, she asked if she could do it each time I do a Facebook Live, if she's available. I said, sure. So she will email me or text me before a few hours before each live that I do and ask me what I'm using. And it's super, super, super helpful to me. This is Starry Sky. And it's not a color listed on the Them Bones Designer Series paper pack, but I like the way it coordinates with some of these pieces. Now, to put these together to form your box, you're going to lay them the same direction, have the top or outside facing up, have the small flap on each facing down. And you're going to use just a little bit of multi-purpose glue on that small flap. And I suggest using a silicone mat, so silicone craft mat underneath, so that if the glue gets messy or you need to scoot this around, and you can avoid getting any glue on your work surface. Then I want you to take it, okay, that's what we have, flip it over so the small flap that remains is at the top, and fold on that, well, it'll be the second score line. Just fold flat. Again, put some multi-purpose glue on the small flap. And then you're just going to fold over the bottom flap. And it goes, the edge of the bottom flap goes pretty much up to the fold line. Mine's not real straight. I mustn't. So I'm going to pick it up just a little bit, I think. There we go. Take that edge right to the fold, not beyond the fold, but right up to it. Okay. So now you have this shape. For the bottom, to close up the bottom, fold in the two small flaps, fold in the bottom flap, and then you're going to put your multi-purpose glue on the inside edge of that top flap, and then basically on the outside edge of the bottom flap. So do you see where I have my glue? And what'll happen is I'm just going to hold those first three flaps in place and fold the fourth one over. Hold it for a few seconds. And a lot of times when I have something like this, I flip it over and I try to reach in there with something and try to kind of smooth it out. Look what I came up with today. Does anybody have, I don't even know what size block this is, the letter of it. But it's perfect. I just put it in there. Can you see that? And I use that to kind of tap down on that bottom. All right, and it's nice and long. The width is good. So that was my little hack using one of our clear blocks today. H block, Jenny, you probably know better than me. It's the larger, there are three rectangular ones. The small, this one I use quite often, and then the large one, okay? It's the largest of rectangular ones. Okay, so now I have that. Let's just go ahead and finish constructing the other three blocks. In case somebody came on late, they'll be able to see it, and it goes really quickly. We'll put all of our blocks together, or not blocks, boxes. And this is what I would do if I were making a lot. I like to do assembly line style crafting when I have several of something to make. We don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood. In fact, last year I think we got 14, and that was the record. So we're a pretty new neighborhood, just 5 years old. Lots of middle-aged people like myself, few older people, and then young couples and very young families. We are starting to see a lot of babies born in our neighborhood. So I'm sure in a few years we'll get more trick-or-treaters. Plus, I'm up on the first street, so not everybody brings their kids up to the first street. But I like to do a little something special for the trick-or-treaters that do come. So this might be for them. I also like to do a little something for my adult kids and my nieces. So this would work out nicely for them. My adult kids, my adult nieces. I usually do sometimes like a gift card. I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. But I can still do that, putting a gift card in here along with maybe some fun Halloween candies. Okay, and now we're just going to do the very same procedure that we did on our first one. Lay out your box pieces. Put adhesive on one small flap. Okay, flip it over and fold it so you've got the other small flap set to add your multi-purpose glue or your liquid glue, green glue, whatever you want to call it, and then put those two edges together. And then really easy to close up the bottom. We tuck in the small flaps, tuck the bottom flap down, and I'm going to add adhesive there and there, so that when I pull that fourth flap over, it'll adhere the bottom. Use my, I think, Jenny, you determined it was the H block, right? So Jen, okay, I understand that. Maybe not in a retirement village are you going to get trick-or-treaters, but maybe you do something I block. Okay, thank you. Do something fun. And I have heard that Halloween just isn't quite as big of a deal in Australia. What I'm going to show you at the end, though, is I have two samples I just kind of threw together really quickly that you can use these boxes, not just for Halloween, but for anything, a birthday party, maybe favors for a retirement party, or anytime you want to give just a little gift. It would be fun to do it in holiday colors and make some handmade gift tags, and you could tuck the gift tags in the box and give that as a hostess gift. Or maybe that coworker or neighbor or friend, somebody who needs a pick-me-up. Fill it with some treats, some fun candy. Okay, there's that one. And we have one more to put together, and then we're going to decorate them with the Them Bones DSP we cut and some pieces from the Tricks and Treats bundle. And even if you're not into Halloween, you might be interested in, it's about an inch. Yes, I would say it's about an inch. Inch wide, yeah, just slightly over, 1.1 inches, about 4 inches tall and 3 inches wide. Good question, Lori. So it's not teeny tiny, which I like, because sometimes boxes can be so tiny I struggle to find something to put in them, but not so huge either that it's takes a lot or is expensive to fill. Oh, lottery tickets. My adult kids, they like lottery tickets also. That would be a fun thing to throw in there with some treats. You might do some kind of shower favors, and you could do boxes that are in the colors of the wedding, or if it's a baby shower, maybe the colors of the nursery, or pinks and blues if it's a girl or a boy. Lots of different things that you can do with this. Okay. So let's do a little decorating. So I'm going to take this. Remember, all 4 of these were that strip cut from the Them Bones Designer Series paper. And then I trimmed them down, took off an 1/8 inch on each side. So it's 2 3/4 wide, and I cut off a 1/2 inch at the top and the bottom as well. So, oh, I did want to do something right here before I adhere that. I have this word eek from the Tricks and Treats stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp it right there in black. And then I'm ready to adhere this to my box. Now you could adhere these pieces before you assemble, but for me, I always prefer to assemble my box first and then do the decorating. That way, if I do something wrong with the box and it doesn't turn out, I haven't wasted my cardstock, DSP, stamping, whatever I'm putting on the box to decorate it. And a simple decoration here, or embellishment here, I colored 5 of these tiny rhinestones with the dark starry sky Stampin' blends. Stampin' blend. And just add a little bit of sparkle and interest. Super cute, super easy, right? I feel like you guys are getting a strange shadow today, and I don't know why, because everything is as usual. Maybe that needs to go higher. Okay, let's move on to another one. What would you like to play next? Did you hear that? Alexa's just asking me what, Alexa off. Alexa's just asked me what I want to hear next, what I want to play. And this one, I'm kind of mixing things up a little bit. I was going to put that on this one because it looks like this, which is cute. I like either one, but I kind of like it on the black background also. And then this one, I thought just for a change, I want to put this Trick or Treat on the starry sky. Because that's how I roll, right? Just like to change things up. Oh, I got that sticky on my fingers. Now to embellish this, I want to use, grab it. I'm going to use my black and white gingham ribbon and just make a fun bow. If I can get it here. Now this is in the annual catalog, okay, the black and white gingham ribbon, it's about 1/4 inch wide. In the mini catalog, we have a different gingham ribbon, and that one is just a little bit wider, but it is vanilla and black, okay? This is black and white, the other one is black and vanilla, and a little bit wider. So like I said, this one's in the annual catalog, Jenny, I think I forgot to give you the embellishments today when I gave you the list. But look at you, you're already on it. Is she not awesome or what? Everybody needs a Jenny in their craft room. Cute, super simple. Here's my sample. I did it on the black. I like that starry sky for a pop of color against the orange there. Okay, those two. Now I'm going to, what happened to my other sample? Okay, this is the one, let me think. I'm going to do that one last. Okay, so I'm doing this houndstooth pattern. It's black and a gray, I would say, smoky slate. And then from, if I can pick these up, from the Tricks and Treats die, I'm going to be using this ghost and the boo, okay? The ghost and the boo. Now there's no stamping for the ghost and the boo, so we're just gonna stick them right on. I'm going to use some dimensionals for my ghost. These look like friendly ghosts, right? Did any of you grow up watching Casper the Friendly Ghost? And I thought all ghosts were friendly, you know? I thought, I didn't know that there were going to be movies and things where ghosts were creepy and scary and mean and whatnot. Okay, and then to add this, I'm just going to cut two very, very teeny tiny pieces of dimensional, super tiny. And I'm basically putting them on one side of the O, and I'm not going to put any on the B. And the reason being, I want that letter B, is it going to stick? I think so, to overlap that top ghost just a wee bit. And if I had a dimensional there, then it would be like doubly thick. And the boo would also be kind of uneven. Ooh, cute. What do you think? What do you think? And then for my last one, I'm first going to adhere this designer series paper. I want the pumpkin pie side, and printed all over it are the words boo and eek. Boo and eek. And I'm gonna try to center that there. Just like that. And for this one, I need to do some stamping. So, Barbara, you like the boo there? Good. And I kind of like that it's like, kind of like boo, like calling out boo, and it's a little bit off the box even. Okay, so I want to stamp a Frankenstein and I guess a Dracula vampire. And the first thing I'm gonna do is, now, if you have a Stamparatus at home, I would highly suggest you use it. if you don't have a Stamparatus, or I'm not showing it because I know we can't sell Stamparatus anymore, which is such a bummer. I wanted to show people how I deal with something like this if I didn't have a Stamparatus to use. I'm just going to take my Stampin' Right marker of the same color and just kind of go over it like that. Fill in those areas that didn't fill in real well. You can try stamping over it again because it is a photopolymer stamp and it's pretty easy to see through. But for me, this is kind of a seamless, no fault way of doing it, right? Then I'm going to take my old olive and I'm going to fill in with the, what happened to my scrap paper? I want to fill in the face, but I don't want it that dark. So I'm going to stamp off first and I'm going to line up the top of this stamp with the top of the first one I did. Okay. My pad's a little juicy, so it got a little funky. Let me try it again. Although I guess, does Frankenstein have perfect skin? I suppose not. But let me try it one more time and we'll see. And I'm gonna stamp off and then stamp on. So I'm doing some two-step stamping here. Okay, about the same. I'll use the first one. And then I'm going to do similar for my Dracula face. Where is the Dracula? Here we go. On this one, I've decided to, so that was Old Olive for my Frankenstein. I'm using Gorgeous Grape for my Gorgeous Grape and Black for the Dracula or vampire. Okay, there's the top. It's Gorgeous Grape. I'm going to stamp off. Do it again, just because. And again, I'm just matching up the top of both stamps. Okay. And then I've got this Dracula face that I can add. Looking at my sample, they weren't quite as grainy looking, but I added some ink beforehand, so maybe I didn't give that ink enough time to settle. Okay, let me close these up and get them out of the way. And then we can die cut these. The small or mini, it might have done better with the piercing mat, Katie. A lot of times the silicone mat is just enough, but I'm thinking such as a larger solid area, it may have worked better on the Stampin' Pierce mat, okay? Typically that's what I use for things like that, but with the Facebook Live and so much stuff on my craft space at once, I went for this, and that may have made the difference. But you see here, I did these two on the silicone mat also. So who knows, sometimes it's the touch, where it's picking up the most ink from, that sort of thing. So now let's die cut these. I'm going to die cut my Frankenstein here. If you don't have either one of those, the silicone mat or the Stampin' Pierce mat, if you have an old mouse pad, that works really well too. Just something that has a little cush to it. And then I'll cut out my Dracula. I love how handy these mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines are. I can stick in my little basket right here to the right. It's on, literally connected to my tabletop. All right, so let's put this last bag together. Where are my dimensionals? And these are friendly faces. So if you are thinking about little ones, these are friendly faces. They're not scary. My Emily, I have to tell you this. I wish, oh, I should have gotten out a picture. My Emily wanted to be Frankenstein once. She probably was maybe, I don't know, 8 years old, something like that. She had me painting her face green, or maybe she had a mask that year. But Emily always wanted to be something where nobody would recognize her. And I remember her running home and saying, Mrs. Sattler didn't even know who I was. And she was so proud of her little Frankenstein costume. Although it scared her little cousin half to death. So we had to work through that too. Okay, then in the same die set, you get this tiny little tag, which I think is so cute. And so of course I decided I needed to use that. So I stamped the word eek and cut it out with the die. And then, just like I colored those small rhinestones with the Stampin' Blend, here I colored a larger one with a pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend. And I'm using that right over that hole. Come on. Just like that. So there's my fourth box. So what do you think? What do you think, friends? Okay. So super easy. Using that, again, that piece of Designer Series paper from the Them Bones DSP pack, right? Oh, I was going to fill in up here a little bit. There. Easy peasy, and just a little stamping and die cutting, really cute. Now I will tell you, in this set, there are other pieces that we have not used. There's this zigzag. So before I assemble the box, I could cut the box pieces with the zigzag so they get a different fringy kind of top. Here is the die that coordinates with the haunted house from the stamp set. Okay. And then the last, oh, there's actually two of these tags. I just now noticed that. Yay. Even better. Okay. So these three pieces right here, I want to show you what this is. What I would do with these is cut this one in yellow. These are for candy corn. Cut that one in probably daffodil. The small one I would cut with white. And the bottom one I would do pumpkin pie. And then you layer that top and the bottom on that rounded triangle for your candy corn. Super cute. Now these two dies kind of puzzled me at first. I thought, what are these? You know, could they be like handles? No, because they only really cut the holes. And then it occurred to me, before putting your box together, you could run it through the die machine, and then you would have 2 holes that you can use to maybe pull ribbon through, a narrow ribbon. This is really small holes. This does the same thing, but this would be more like for linen thread or baker's twine. But I was like, oh, so I thought, well, maybe I should show that. But that's not how I intend to use my boxes. What I would do with these myself is when I do treats and things, I always like to have them in a cellophane bag, and I tie the cellophane bag with a ribbon and a bow, and I tuck the bag down in here. So that's why I didn't use those to make any handles for my bag. But that's what those are for. If you're somebody who, or, you know, depending on your project, if you want to add ribbon handles or something like that, that's what you would use this for. Okay. I guess that's it. And I don't have a giveaway today because of I can't mail these. What do I have anything I could send out just for fun? Trying to think if I have something that kind of goes with that, and I don't really. How about today I'm going to give away some butterfly embellishments. How about we do that instead today? All right. If you would like to have your name put into the drawing to receive a package of the brushed brass butterflies, I haven't given away something like this in a long time, so this will be fun. Type in the comments now, tricks and treats. Tricks and treats, okay? If you type in the comments, tricks and treats, I will enter your name into the drawing to receive a package of the brushed brass butterflies. Seems like everybody loves these butterflies. They have been so popular, so popular. So I think that'll be a fun thing to give away. Okay, tricks and treats. All right, what did you think of today's projects? How about the tricks and treats bundle? Even if you aren't into Halloween, I would suggest that you, but you like doing favors and party treats, things like that, you might consider at least purchasing the die set. I think all around it's a great bundle, but especially my favorite part of it is that we can make the boxes. Super fun. Okay. All right, everybody. I will be back for another Facebook Live on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you'll join me then. And I hope that you will invite others to like this Facebook page, Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. And if you've never checked out my blog, I would love for you to do that. It's easy to get to, stampinpeace.com, stampinpeace.com. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you Thursday. Bye-bye.